March 1791, Western Pennsylvania. The excise whiskey tax goes into effect, and suddenly, Americans who are not used to paying taxes on the whiskey they distill have to begin shelling out money to, who else? The government. Seeing as they just fought a war to escape taxation from a faraway central power, you can imagine they weren't exactly chipper about a new central power trying to do the same. What resulted was a string of protests over the next 3 years, culminating in the aptly titled Whiskey Rebellion in July 1794. Here, 500 questionably sober Pennsylvanians descended upon the mansion of Tax Inspector General John Neville. They fought off his armed slaves and a small detachment of federal troops, and then burned the mansion to the ground. In response, President George Washington, who literally had no time for this, led 13,000 militiamen into the region, and the protesters wisely returned home. But what does Nascar have to do with any of this? Surprisingly, the Whiskey Rebellion and Nascar do have something in common: tax evasion. Small rural distillers continued rebelling against whiskey taxes well into the 20th century. But instead of burning down houses and fighting federal troops, they simply took to outrunning the law. Seemingly normal-looking cars were souped up to handle better and drive faster, which was important on backcountry roads, where there wasn't much room for anything but perfection. For the same reason, drivers also became adept at high-speed maneuvering. And by the time Prohibition ended in 1933, there was a pool of guys who could dog just about anyone. The only problem was, there wasn't as much work anymore, so they began racing to earn money. Fast forward to 1947, when one of those racers, a guy by the name of Big Bill France, decided there needed to be some standardized rules to these events. He gathered a bunch of his colleagues together in a bar in Daytona, Florida, and when they came out, they'd all but formed the basis of a new organization: the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, or NASCAR. And the rest, as they say, is history. What's your favorite bit of strange Heartland history? Let us know in the comments, and be sure to check out Rated Red's new series, Road to Race Day, premiering July 19th on Verizon's Go 90 app.